Welcome to day 11 of Channeling Jesus, Consciousness Shift Journey. So if you're new here, obviously I will highly recommend you to start from day one. But if you have stumbled upon this video, then go to one and then start and go all the way. But I wanted to say that the way that I channel is that I start to talk about what is happening now for the body. I have set the stage to invite Jesus in to speak to what's uplifting for you guys. And so then this process starts. So you will tell, based on how you're feeling, if you can tell the switch, if you can tell what I'm doing. So there are multiple things going on at the same time. So I'm both showing you how you can do this too. I hope you see that. And also, there is the attunement that is transpiring here that you can attune your body to. This goes both for energy and also correct some misperceptions perhaps that could be present. Because it is just our perception that is guiding how well we move in frequency. We are the only one that is holding ourselves back, really. But it's not so forced as the overly masculine population that is leaning towards operating from the masculine wants you to think. It is much more in balance and in flow than that, the natural rhythms. Because the natural rhythms is what the feminine is. The feminine and your body, even if you're a man, this is the feminine energy. The energy that we as the masculine, which is the consciousness, operate the body with. And so knowing that you are only just maneuvering two main energies within you, it's very good to know. Because we can get lost in this modality and that modality and this thought pattern and that thought pattern and just overwhelm ourselves with too much stuff so that we don't really get anything done. Could do that, but that's not beneficial, right? So it's important to simplify things. And so if we find it too complex, this logical world, because you don't have to only operate there. That is one way of operating. But it is more materialized. You can take a step back and start to pay attention to the body and start to actually feel the truth of energy. Because then you can see the truth that supersedes the thoughts and the labels and all of that. And for that, we need to use the senses that are actually producing that is producing the sense that we actually want to read from. And what is that? That is our feelings. Our feelings are closer linked to truth. Why is that? Why is that truth? Well, I have my truth and he has his truth. That is not truth. That is not energetic truth. That is a perception of truth. It's just a perception. Some person has come to the conclusion of X and another person of Y. That's a perception. That is something that you have from the mental plane. If you want to identify truth, you have to include your body. Why is that so important? It's because it's closer linked to energetic truth. And energetic truth is that it is a balance between the two that is necessary to obtain. And if you're only thinking from the mental plane, you're only operating with one side of reality. There is another side of reality, which is highly intuitive, highly feeling, sensing. This is what dogs are really good at. They're sniffing. They're not just smelling, they're feeling. They're feeling into things, and they're using their sense. Our bodies can absolutely train like that to get that sensitive. Once you know how things actually operate and how you are the soul that is operating this body and that it is your responsibility to operate this body, then you get how important this dance is. So including the body means that you are actually including Gaia and the rest of the universe. Think that. Because you're recognizing that everything is a living creature. How can you operate in a world disconnected from everything? Where are you getting your food? Your source of nourishment? You seem to be manipulating the outside world to get it, to barter here, to, oh, if I say it this way, then the person will like me, and if I do this and that and the, and these are all manipulative ways that you operate from that mental space. When you're too much in the mental space, or you're confused about your sensing, you don't trust the sensing versus the thoughts, you're not sure which to trust, because the thought seems to say one thing and the body seems to feel another. That is the two splits that you're feeling inside, and it's your job to harmonize them. It's your job. I'm giving there's a lot of information on this channel to assist, to get to that connection, to clarify that connection, to get more and more in harmony with both things from the higher chakras point of view and also the lower chakras point of view. This is feeling. And we can sit there and feel together. But from the logical mind, that doesn't seem very productive use of the time to sit and watch a video just sitting still. But for the body, that makes perfect sense. For the feeling sense. That part is going, oh, thank you for including me. Oh, I was getting a bit, brainy there, right? Because then you get that connection again. And that is those two at play. If you're too much on a computer, it's a bit trickier to connect with the body. It's not impossible, but you need to balance doing things for the body. I thought that I knew how to do this. This body knew how to do this. But it was not 100%. There were still some shadows. There were still some shadows that needed to be seen. And it's only shadow because this being did not see. And there are many beings that don't see. But the first thing to do is not to pretend. Don't repeat verbally and in a complaining way, that would just recreate it and keep that momentum going. And we want to stop that. So first of all, the verbal, this goes for everything you want to change, by the way. First of all, the verbal thing has to stop. That's the first thing. The verbal. Don't tell the story. I know. Because next time you meet a person, you're so used to telling that story, just don't do it. That's the first effort that you have to make. Don't tell the story that is keeping something at play. Tell a different story. Find that different story. Find the meaning in your life. What are you being called to be? It's usually through your resistance, through those things that perhaps some people want to avoid. But many are also feeling very called because the times are requiring it. You can feel that it is ripe for this transformation. The planet Gaia, she is ripe for this transformation. The collective consciousness is ripe for this transformation, so that we all can elevate together into a new place, a new frequency of being more in harmony with who we are. Because what that will do is that when we are in harmony with who we are, then that ripples out and it affects millions and millions of people that have not made the choice yet. And so you are the light that is going forward. Proud and all of who you are and what you've come to cultivate in here. And that can be through anything. Your art is your art. This consciousness shift journey is a wonderful journey. It is one of the most glorious things that you can undergo. To really comprehend how energy works and how you can maneuver it so that you get back in line with who you are is wonderful. It's a wonderful thing to be able to have mastered on your human journey, because then it's easier to navigate. It's easier to navigate how to maneuver all of the turns, the twists and turns of life in general, because things will happen. But then knowing the truth of things, it's easier to navigate, to make the right decisions energetically. And what does that mean? That means, itchy. That itch threw me off a little bit. And it's interesting because sometimes the energy that will come through will itch like that. And that is usually something of a, I've come to identify this as something of a lower, a I almost see them just as particles, small little particles. And sometimes I can feel those particles being denser in frequency. That means that they are highlighted in my field. And so they are automatically then getting cleansed and upgraded. That's what happens in my field. Things just get upgraded and harmonized. And so that is something that I now have on automatic, because that is how I function. I always seek to harmonize anything that I'm feeling in my field. So anything that is distorted in my field automatically gets cleansed. This is what I'm inviting you to start to cultivate. And it starts here. Clear the mind and clear the feeling. Start to feel more. Start to connect both of these so that you can harmonize your space and be more in harmony with who you are. Because once you have harmonized enough of these things, then you get to commune clearer. You get to hear the right things from a higher frequency. You get to tune your body. And this is how we unpluck little things from the field. And we, by our choices, we choose to be open to certain experiences, frequency-wise, or closed. So if someone or something is in a lower frequency, you have to gauge, is this something that is divine? Because sometimes you're being called to serve. Or is this something of a lower frequency? I can sense that there's a lower karmic pattern here. That is from the past. Okay, I've identified it. Ergo, I'm making choices now to do something different. So that my experience is different. And those choices accumulate. Whenever you do something, you're strengthening it. These new behaviors need to be strengthened, repeated. And only by repeating something over and over again, then you adjust your body to it. And then it becomes your new ego. But it's self-trained because you trained it, the soul, for specific purposes. This is how you get to train your own self into who you are. That is a self journey. It's not meant to be outsourced to anyone. It's meant to be cultivated and provided so that you would make the right decision for you. It is a self-organizing system that you have all around you. It's self-organizing. When you know how it operates, you can work with it. When you don't know, you will obviously work against it, which is not a good idea, but many are doing that. So working with the energy so that you can be aligned to the truth of the light that you are and host more light and share stubbornly who you are. We want to get to know you. Even if you think you're too much for us. Even if you've been hiding. Even if you've been pretending to be someone else and you're not. Even if you have developed this identity that works for you, but then there's certain things that you feel like is not right. That's what we're talking about. That's how you sense them inside. That's how you sense if you're on your right, if you are on the right track or not. If you pay attention, depends on the connection with your body. We are fully aware that this is a little bit different. This is a little bit new. It's a new way of thinking. It's a new way of operating. It's a new way of thinking about all of these things that are within our bodies. And that is really the game. Once you start to see things clearly for what they are, this is a relearning. No one taught us this when we grew up. No one taught that we are meant to function in harmony. Most of us grew up in total dysfunctional families, as if it was normal. So obviously we grew up thinking that we were normal, but then we start to feel and sense and, oh, hang on a second. This is not exactly what I thought it would be. And slowly but surely, higher consciousness are guiding you down your path. Just the same as this being, he's been guided every step along the way. It is a process, and you're doing wonderful. There's no need to rush, but definitely no need to not do anything either. Highly recommend start one step at a time. Accumulated moves mountains. That's what I wanted to share for today. If you like this content, please consider sharing this program so that someone else gets this benefit as well. And like, subscribe, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Ciao.